And welcome to our season 100 rookie draft. I am your host, S. Soden, and we are about ready to start the NFL draft. The Houston Texans will be on the clock, number one. Before I hit that button to start the draft, I'd like to thank Allied Plumbing and Heat, a name you can trust, and I'd like to remind everybody we are Maddie Strong. Make sure, hashtag Maddie Strong, she begins her treatment on Wednesday of next week, so fingers crossed. Hopefully everything goes smooth for her. If you guys have comments in the chat, make sure you post them. We will be displaying your comments on the right side under the Inside the Draft feature. We will be giving away some attributes here. I'm supposed to be joined by Mr. King of Wakanda here shortly. As soon as he is here, I'm sure he will jump in the chat. If not, we will get this party started with just myself. Thanks to a shout out to the Kansas City Chiefs owner, A. Soden. He is actually running the draft from my console. I am in the production studio right now. So with that being said, who do you guys think? Who do you think the Houston Texans, don't answer this. Who do you think the Houston Texans are going to take with their first pick in the draft? Go ahead and post that in the chat. And we should be ready to get this party started. And Mr. Witness says, Maddie Strong. Swing on these as well. Let's see. We have a bunch of Maddie Strongs. We'll go ahead and move these guys over for you. We have King AB in the house. We have Eat More Chicken is in the house. I know the Texans are getting ready to make their pick. Billy Hoyle in the house. Looks like just about everybody in the league is here. All right, here we go. We have some predictions. Mr. Witness, he is picking Lawrence. I assume by Lawrence, you would mean this man right here. This is who a lot of people think the Houston Texans are going to take. This is courtesy of our buddy, King of Wakanda. Wakanda's SB 100 draft spotlight has a spot reserved on the website just for his draft analysis. And we're going to get a few more predictions in here. I know Houston is ready to go. Let's see, Dynasty. Dynasty says he's going to take the top receiver. We have King AB says CP90. Corey says Lawrence. He wants to move Watson. Here's a good pick. Here's a very good pick. Guys, if you were following this draft and you obviously know how overpowered the offenses are, you know how overpowered the offenses are. Pat Surtain. Pat Surtain would be a very good pick. K-Matt says, what's up? Sterling says the punter. The punter. Sterling, you had to go there, man. This is just for you. There is the punter. Word on the street is Seahawks 37-26 is taking Ryan Stonehouse, who I believe, and King of Wakanda believes, is the best punter in the draft and possibly the best punter to be drafted in a long time. This kid's pretty phenomenal out of Colorado, CSU, so make sure you guys check him out. He is multi-talented. So just throwing that out there. All right, again, we are sponsored by Allied Plumbing and Heat, a name you can trust in A. Soden multitasking, says Patrick Surtain. I'm going to tell you guys what, if you guys get this right, I'm going to give away +1 speed to a player of your choice. Papa Smurf says Jamar Chase, another great pick. And we have a whole bunch of comments here. We have the GOAT. He's going to pick Tom Brady. All right. Patrick Surtain and Sam Madison. Ura, multi-talented. Yes, Ura, he is multi-talented. I have scouted that punter. You guys let him slip. I may take him. Jiggy J-Rod. He's not good. It was the high altitude. Or was it being high in the altitude? One can only know. I mean, it is legal here in Colorado. I don't know if the NCAA condones it. Wow, a lot of picks. Looks like we could be giving away a lot of +1 speeds here. Patrick Surtain. Let's see. Well, Mr. A. Soden, go ahead and kick that draft off. The Houston Texans will officially be on the clock. Let me see if I don't see my King of Wakanda here. So we will move on. We have another Patrick Surtain sighting. And we are officially started here. Live in the draft. Let me make sure we give you guys a little bit of audio here. All right, we have some audio for you. All right, and the Houston Texans are officially on the clock. About a minute on the clock here. Get your picks in. Make sure one of your staff members gets these guys here. We have, all right, let's see. We have Eat More Chicken. All right, he's taking Lawrence. So says Platinum Warrior. He's still looking. So the Houston Texans may not totally be sold on who they're going after, or they just like being dramatic here, but they are on the clock. 35 seconds and ticking right now for Spanza, the Houston Texans owner. Technically the Broncos pick, that is correct. This pick was traded for J.J. Watt to the Denver Broncos, the #1 pick in the draft. 9 seconds. He's running low on time here. And the pick is in, and there it is. Wide receiver Jamar Chase. An interesting pick, but this guy has talent. And there's a look at Jamar Chase.
The Raiders are now on the clock.
And we have another pick that just came in, so let me get rid of that for you while you watch Jamar Chase. And they went Isaiah Woodson. Interesting pick. Corner. I do not have any video on Mr. Woodson. Woodson goes as the first corner in the draft. Isaiah Woodson, the son of Rod Woodson, undrafted. Or didn't go to a college, so interesting pick there. Make sure you post in the chat how good these guys are.
The Vikings are now on the clock.
And the next pick is in. There goes Lawrence. As we talked about before, Mr. Lawrence, who I thought was probably the best player in the draft. And Trevor Lawrence, who I think is phenomenal in this draft. I believe he may actually be an X factor, at least a superstar. Check him out. The guy's got it all. He's the total package at quarterback, and you cannot go wrong. The Oakland Raiders with a very, very good pick. Trevor Lawrence going to the Oakland Raiders. And here you go. Lawrence is an 84 overall. That is a solid, solid pick for the Oakland
Jaguars
Raiders.
Are now on the clock.
And the Jaguars are back on the clock. They have 3 picks here in the first round. Jacksonville surprising the world and going after Isaiah Woodson, a 74 overall cornerback. And the Vikings go Ross.
The Jets are now on the clock.
And he goes Adebo. Now, Adebo is a solid player. As the Jets are on the clock right now, we'll play a little bit of catch-up here. Adebo is a very, very good player. There is Adebo for you guys. A solid player. Give you a little sound here. He is an absolute playmaker, who I thought was one of the best in the draft. So Adebo going to the Jaguars. The Jaguars going after 2 corners in the draft, Woodson and Adebo. Now Ross went earlier. I believe we have a video on Mr. Ross. We'll take a look at that, why this pick is coming in from the New York Jets. And here is a look at Ross.
Up in the pocket, fire to the sideline.
Early newcomer, the left tackle, Jackson Carman. On 3rd and 5. Pressure again. Lawrence on target. First down. They gave up only 95 yards per game on the ground. They think they can stop the run. Trevor Lawrence, beautiful on target throw to the sideline. He tells us quick tape.
That was a look there. We don't want to miss the New York Jets pick. The Jets still on the clock here. 27 seconds and ticking. New York Jets led by Papa Smurf. In anticipation, the Jets need all sorts of weapons here, probably needing a running back. Letting Le'Veon Bell go in a trade to the Kansas City Chiefs. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
The Redskins are now on the clock.
And the Washington Redskins are on the board, and there you go. Molden, the other corner, another solid player, comes off the board here. Mr. Molden is a playmaker, a very fast guy. You may have saw him in the opening video. Somebody that's a little bit rough around the edges, but he does possess good speed. Little bit undersized, but he has big play potential.
Pulling out the coupe at the lot, turning for a 12 for a swat, busting all the bells out the box. I just hit the lick with the box, had to put the stick in the box. Pour up the whole damn field, I'ma get lazy. I got the mojo pills, we been trapping like the 80s. She said the nigga so.
Molden got in there.
Yards on the ground. He's got it again. He lost the ball. Washington's got it. Elijah Molden captures the fumble, and Washington takes over. Turnover of the day suffered by Utah.
I was at back, where the stash at? Cruise the city in a bulletproof Cadillac. Cause I know these niggas out there where the bag at. Gotta move smarter.
And the Washington Redskins, 38 seconds in counting here in the first round. Washington can also use some weapons. They could use a running back. They could use a wide receiver. Doc says he has to be an X factor. I think he's a little rough around the edges. I don't believe he's totally polished yet. Yeah, Jets. Yeah, that's true. The Jets did get Derrick Henry. I forgot about that. Mr. Jiggy Man pointing that out. Speaking of that.
Are now
all
on
right,
the
now
clock.
let's see. We have Patrick Surtain. There is what I believe the best corner in the draft. Mr. Surtain. A rock-solid player, the son of Patrick Surtain, the Miami Dolphins, great corner. He has excellent play potential, big play potential on defense.
Just as Hansen on second down, knocked away. Patrick Surtain is his first 3 games.
As the 49ers are on the clock right now, we have some highlights of Patrick Surtain II, Junior, whatever you want to call him. And look at those hands, that deep post, getting out there and reaching out for the football. Then the breakaway speed to go down the sideline.
Personal foul, late hit out of bounds, number 73. 15-yard penalty, first down.
Then he sticks out his hands and makes a catch.
And the San Francisco 49ers are now on the clock. That is a very, very good pickup. To me, that was the best corner in the draft. And San Francisco here at number 9. San Francisco, they could use some help on offense. They could also use a corner. There are a bunch of good corners in this draft. Darkskin Drake says, nice pick by the Skins. I agree. I can't believe Surtain fell that far.
The 49ers
I
are
thought
now
for
on the
sure.
clock.
Kendall Moore. We have Kendall Moore, wide receiver out of Purdue, a very good wide receiver, somebody that Mr. King of Wakanda was very high on. Was Kendall Moore. Moore is a solid receiver. This should be a good weapon for the San Francisco 49ers. We'll give you a little bit of highlights here of Mr. Moore.
Passing, Moore, catching.
The 49ers
makes
are
a nice
still on the
move.
clock.
On the first play from scrimmage. Gets the 47, gets a Purdue first down. On third down, fakes to Horvath. Moore's got another catch. Moore, 5th touch already of his first drive, including the kickoff return. First down again. Moore again. Catch. Rondell Moore. Low kick. Moore on a hop from his 30. He's elusive. Here he goes. Featured back.
And Ulajari goes off the board. That is a playmaker as well. San Francisco getting 2 solid players here back to back. Watch out for San Francisco in that NFC West. Here's a look
Get your quarterback his
at
feet on the ground
Ulajari.
here. One of the positives for Tennessee so far has been the play of the offensive line. Jeremy Pruitt said it's been better than he anticipated, given they're playing with 2 freshman tackles.
And watch that penetration. The guy can get off the football. Somebody to play on the opposite side of
Michael
Bosa.
Barnett, who's in the middle now with that defense, big number 94. Senior out of Ridgeville, South Carolina. On 2nd and 10, the toss to Ty Chandler. The escape well behind the line.
And the Minnesota Vikings on the clock right now. Coach, Mr. Witness 36. And Corey King, anyone looking for wide receiver or corner, good shape? That is correct. There is a lot of wide receivers in this draft. There is a lot of speed in this draft. There are 2 solid quarterbacks, maybe 3 that I saw in this draft.
The Buccaneers are now on the clock.
And Jake Bentley, quarterback out of Utah. I don't have anything on him. Mr. Bentley, an 80 overall, a solid player. That looks to be a steal in the draft out of Utah. And Regular Baseball says, yo, what? That's a good pickup. Somebody did their scouting. Be interested to know what that development is on Mr. Bentley, as now we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on the clock again. 2 of 3 picks here for the Tampa Bay
Ravens
Buccaneers.
are now on the clock.
And they go Fields, quarterback. This is a good pick. I like Fields. Fields is a solid player.
Fields
Here's
on
a look
second
at
down,
Fields.
takes off running straight ahead to the Owls, 40 to the 30 down the left side field, to the Owls 10, and he takes it into the end zone for a touchdown run of 50-plus. Welcome to Columbus.
Big play speed, somebody like a Lamar Jackson, but he has a good, solid accuracy. Look at that, wide open.
The end zone goes the tight end Jeremy Ruckert for 32 of Florida Atlantic for Ohio State. Fields gets a quick snap, throws it deep down the left side for Victor. Open, score, touchdown, Benjamin Victor, as he grabs it on a 32-yard touchdown. Fields under center, fakes the handoff to Dobbins.
As the Baltimore Ravens are on the clock, Coach Timbo. Coach Timbo on the clock had a down season by Timbo's standards. And Mr. Eatmore Chicken says he wants to know what his throwing power is. And Mr. Witness says, Fields, my boy, as the Baltimore Ravens are still on the clock here, about 40 seconds. The New York Jets are up next. Now, the Jets did pull off a trade. Or, I'm sorry, they didn't pull off a trade.
The Jets are now on the clock.
And they're on the clock. That is Ateen, the halfback out of Clemson, I think what is rated as the top-rated halfback in the draft. And he was. Here is some Ateen highlights for you.
First and 20. Etienne trying to bounce outside to the 30. He's loose to midfield. To the 30, 20, 10, touchdown. 90 yards. First and 10 for Clemson. The handoff, and all the way through Etienne, just like that. His second touchdown tonight, 14-yard touchdown run.
All right, now we spoke about Derrick Henry, and there you have it. Here are our big names that were signed here, our top 4 free agents. Derrick Henry going to the New York Jets on a 4-year, $36.2 million deal. Darius Slay Jr. going to division rival Minnesota on a $79.2 million deal. He is getting paid. Ryan Kelly, one of the better centers in football, going to that Denver Broncos team on a 3-year, $51.5 million deal. And then the fullback, Kyle Juszczyk, a 1-year deal worth $5.9 million. He's getting paid for a fullback. Also quite possibly the best fullback in the league. And the Jets on the clock here, just 12 seconds left for the New York Jets. They may have their draft board already set. Coach Witness says he is airing it out, trying to catch up on some of the comments here. Yes, I know he's on autopilot. I'm taking that time to catch up on everybody. As you're blessed, Hall of Fame head coach of the Carolina Panthers on the clock, Zamir White, halfback out of Georgia, goes to the New York Jets. So somebody to back up the great Derrick Henry, the X Factor. Coach Billy Hoyle, stop showing highlights. His Yellow Jackets getting torched. Ohio Bengal, big money. Henry, actually, that's a pretty good deal. I think a lot of other teams probably would have bid more there had they known. Derrick Henry was going for so cheap. Again, this is a hashtag Maddie Strong. Hashtag Maddie Strong night here at Soden Bowl, our 100th rookie draft. Welcome to season 100 of Soden Bowl. This is our rookie draft sponsored by Allied Plumbing and Heat, a name you can trust. I don't know if the cash sign will show up in the chat. I will try it for you, Mr. Witness, and it does not. You get a fancy little symbol, though. Mr. Witness posts a picture of cash signs on there. Who has been the best? Who won the number 1 pick, by the way? I think Miami and somebody else. Make sure somebody keeps tabs on that. Swing on these. 49ers already have 2 superstar running backs, and swing on these can run with the best of them. Coach, you're blessed on the clock with about 20 seconds left. Tampa Bay coming up on their last pick of the first round. Then my New England Patriots are on the clock, and I will have to make that pick. So Tampa Bay on the clock in about 6 seconds. I'm curious to see where you're blessed goes with this
pick. The Buccaneers are now on the clock.
And he goes left tackle Sewell. I do not have a video on him, but he looks pretty good. He is an 81 overall as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are on the clock here with pick number 15. Smurf and Chicken got the speed burst. There you go. Papa Smurf from the New York Jets, and as if Chicken doesn't need any more help with the Miami Dolphins, he also wins a +1 speed, both of you. +1 speed, thank you to Allied Plumbing and Heat, a player you can trust. Make sure you post those in the support, please. Post in the support that you won and the player you wish to apply that to, and I will take care of them upon completion of the draft. Now, don't forget, at the completion of this draft, we advance every 10 minutes until preseason week number 4. It is a 300 XP
The Patriots
preseason.
are now on the clock.
And I am on the clock. I will be right back.
The Lions are now on the clock.
All right, and I am back. Now, I like to go with second rounders for first rounders. I don't want any advantage. There are a lot of huge first round talents out there. So I went after Derek Thomas's kid, the late Derek Thomas. He's a bit of a rough
The
prospect for
Falcons
New
are
England.
now on the clock.
Somebody that I will use eventually, as my linebacking core is getting old. I appreciate it. And he wants to know, is that the Miami guy? I'm not sure. And Cosme, another tackle, comes off the board going to the Detroit Lions. Now, here is an interesting pick. Coach Phil. Coach Phil, somebody who
The
really goes
Steelers
in-depth,
are
and
now on
his
the
pick
clock.
is in. He goes Dylan Moses. Now, this is probably the best linebacker in the draft, in my opinion. Here is a look at Moses.
The Chargers are now on the clock.
Hanson on the rollout. Not going to like that match. The task is tall enough if you don't miss him. Hanson deflected. Dylan Moses elevated to get his big paws on that one.
All right, Adnan. Great to be working with you tonight. Tim Tebow here in Oxford this weekend with
Trevion Williams. Wow. That's like running into a wall right there. Right there. They play two gap. He gets two gap.
Very, very good speed. Moses, I think, is one of the most solid linebackers in the draft. I think he was the best linebacker, actually, in the draft. Looking at the last pick, we had Hall of Fame head coach Jay Cork go with wide receiver
The Saints are
Waddle.
now on
We'll
the
get to
clock.
this next pick in a minute. Mathis is another solid player, but let's take a look at Waddle. I believe I have a highlight of Mr. Waddle here. Waddle, one of the wide receivers. Yes, I do. Here is Mr. Waddle.
The receivers, Gary and I have been talking about them, and there's their times. Forget about Ruggs and Smith and Judy. This Waddle guy's okay too. Back at Bryant-Denny Stadium that erupted a couple of minutes ago, courtesy of Jalen Waddle.
All right, due to time constraints, we will end that. We have Mr. Mathis that went off the board to the Los Angeles Chargers. Coach Crowdpleaser picking himself up what I feel is the best defensive tackle in the draft. I actually can't believe he fell this far in a league that really kind of prides itself on the pass rush. Mr. Mathis, I do have a highlight. Here he is, going to the Los Angeles Chargers. right, Mr. Waddle. Somebody said a human joystick in there, and he was watching that man in middle school. Interesting. And then we have somebody coming off the board here. We have one of the hidden players in the draft. Congratulations to the New Orleans Saints. They pick up Art Monk's younger kid. He is a gem. He's not very fast, but he is a good route running receiver. And Ken Coates comes off the board, an 80 overall tight end to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Building that team as we are in round 1, pick number 23 here. And welcome to the chat, Timbo. Timbo says Havoc. And Corey King says 2 guys that he was looking for went back to back. That's the way it is, man. That's why when I do a draft like this, I can't stay hip to the hop with this stuff. I have to, I just have to kind of pick out some people that are probably not going to get drafted when I think they're going to get drafted, and then I just kind of target those guys, put them on my draft board, and then I pick them later. Ken Coates was actually on my draft board. I believe he was projected to go in the 2nd round or maybe the 3rd round, so somebody doing their scouting there. Congratulations to Ohio Bengal. Make sure you post his stuff in the chat. Interested to know how Mr. Coates is. Mr. Witness was watching Coates. He is a relation to Ben Coates. If you remember Ben Coates from the New England Patriots, he should be a big-bodied tight end. Probably somebody that is a bit of a playmaker, I'd imagine. As the New York Jets with 15 seconds, I'm going to let it run out. It lets me kind of catch up on things. I know the Jets aren't here. They've set their draft board. We're not going to do that through the 2nd round. We'll go ahead and advance them through the 2nd and on. But and the New York Jets at pick number 23.
The Browns are now on
Aaron
the clock.
Sterling, left end, a 73 overall. I do not have any video on Mr. Sterling. A bit of a surprise pick, but the New York Jets. Jets already looking pretty good. They picked up a running back. They did sign Derrick Henry in the offseason. That signing alone is money. What do you guys... Oh, Ohio Bengal says, I grabbed the linebacker that he wanted. My apologies. I think you only had like 6 draft picks so far. But, yeah, I have Derek Thomas's kid. I believe he's a 70-something overall. And Sterling says he wanted Sterling. Go figure. As the Cleveland Browns coach, Rock 1, somebody who played fantastic football last season, has a pretty good roster with the Cleveland Browns, if you didn't know. He's done fantastic, has one of the best tight ends in the league. He has Odell Beckham, Baker Mayfield, weapons all over the place. A pretty solid defense as well. Played really good. Won that AFC North division. And won it. The Pittsburgh Steelers came in 2nd. They have a bit of a rivalry, him and Jay Cork. But Rock getting it done. Had a bad playoff performance. I look for him to come back this year. And I really think this Cleveland Browns team is going to battle for the title
Titans
game.
Are now on the clock.
As they go Caleb Huntley, halfback out of Ball State, an 80 overall. I don't think I have any video on him. So that looks to be a bit of a gem there. Nice pick.
The Chargers are now on the clock.
And then T.J. Simmons, wide receiver out of West Virginia, coming off the board next. Mr. Simmons, I do not have any draft footage on him. 72 overall. Make sure you post what his stuff is if you can. Ohio Bengal, I know you like TEs. Yes, I do. I did draft Moss last year, so I don't think the Patriots would like it too much if I drafted another tight end this year. I do have a couple young tight ends in the works there. Izzo being one and another one on the practice squad. So New England probably set at tight end.
The
I was looking at Coates if he did fall. And Calvin Risen, one of my hidden players in the league, the son of Andre Rison, a hidden gem. He goes off the board here out of Nevada. Make sure you check his attributes for me. Let me know what he is and go ahead and post them in the chat. Doc says he is a burner. I don't think he is. I think he's more of a big body type receiver like his dad. Somebody that Los Angeles is going to employ. They are going against the best offense in Soden Bowl belongs to the Kansas City Chiefs, a 95 rated offense. And Kevin Jarvis, left tackle, going to Seahawks. Hall of Fame head coach, Seahawks 37-26. Ura says, thank God. How much?
Buccaneers
I would say it's about
clock.
a 90 speed or 89 speed or so. A 4.56 40-yard dash. And A. Soden agrees with me. Again, multitasking. Running the draft. Shout out to A. Soden. Taking care of the draft there. So I can do this production. And TJ Simmons is a burner. Okay, thank you for the correction there, Doc. Yeah, TJ Simmons, I believe, is a burner. I want to say he's like 96 speed. And Holland comes off the board. Holland is a playmaker. Now, I believe I do have some video of Holland. So I'm going to go ahead and throw this up for you guys. Here is Mr. Holland.
Holland's a pro. He's an NFL player that's a safety, but can cover.
As a true freshman, 5 interceptions, one of the leaders in the Pac-12.
Javon Holland has a lot of the Oregon faithful excited about his future. True sophomore that can run. He's physical.
He's an athlete. Just a great-looking player.
Coming up on the final minute to play. Gordon throwing on the run and completing. And a major hit. Javon Holland came up and put a lick on Patman.
They rush 4, they twist around, they hit Costello on the throw, and it's intercepted by Javon Holland.
Here comes pressure. It's picked up. Nick says time and launches downfield. Jump ball intercepted. Picked off by Javon Holland. And that's a second interception in Nick's debut. Wants it from the 10-yard line. Holland tight open. Javon Holland still going. Makes a cutback into Auburn territory. Can he get the sideline? High stepping out of bounds. They mark him out inside the 10.
And look at the speed and playmaking ability of Holland, what I feel is the best safety in this draft. A very, very good pickup as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers selecting another player, Devontae Smith, wide receiver out of Alabama. As Mr. 5-Star Hustler would say, a Soden Bowl legend, 5-Star Hustler would pick anybody on Alabama, and I bet you he'd come close to winning a Super Bowl with him too. So I'm sure 5-Star, if you were watching, if you were out there, I'm sure you liked that pick.
The Dolphins are now on the clock.
And another blocker coming off the board. Little going to the Indianapolis Colts, Mr. Jiggy Man J-Rod, who statistically had the best
Packers
offense
are
in
now
the
on the
league.
clock.
And there goes Moore, a left tackle to the Miami Dolphins, the reigning AFC champion Miami Dolphins, losing Tom Brady to retirement in the offseason, pick up some offensive line help. And Doc says Holland has the best highlight reel so far. Man, his highlight reel is like 20 minutes long. I could probably do the whole draft with Holland's highlight reel. It's pretty amazing to watch the game tape on him. And then Jordan, a tight end. Now, Bevan Jordan is actually, if you take a look at this, Bevan Jordan, if you look at Wakanda's draft board here, I believe he is the top-rated tight end. I thought I saw him on there. Maybe not. Yeah, it looks like he was his second tight end. He had Kyle Pitts in there to New Orleans, and then Jordan following to the Green Bay Packers. So a solid pickup there. And that is Bevan Jordan to the Green Bay Packers. So he got that pick correct. My apologies. King of Wakanda, man. I'll tell you, I don't think there's any better of a draft guy than Mr. Wakanda. Absolutely rocking it with the draft. And Wakanda says he's actually on the call here. Let me see if I can get him in here. My apologies. Mr. Wakanda, can you hear me, sir? All right. Well, as we wait for Mr. Wakanda, we look at into the second round here. Pick number 1, the Denver Broncos. K-Matt. K-Matt promising he is going to make a splash in this draft. Trades his first pick of the draft, or of this season, I'm sorry, season 100. Trades his first pick for J.J. Watt. But how many times can you say you're going to draft a J.J. Watt? And he does just that. Rising in 89 speed, 98 spectacular catch, man. Taking after his dad. Thank you for the information, King AB.
The Cowboys are now on the clock.
And there is somebody that I had penciled for my 6th round. Anthony Schwartz. Now, I can give you a little bit of background on Schwartz since I did scout him. He's 97 speed. Congratulations. He can fly. But he's normal development, so he is somebody that you're going to have to work on. But he does possess speed. Seahawks, Hall of Fame head coach Seahawks in the house. These videos are awesome. I appreciate it, Seahawks. I really do. Worst pick of the draft, so says the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I don't know. I mean, when you can draft a 97 speed, that's always good, but he's only a 59 overall. So he is obviously a work in progress. Dallas reaching. Or I'm sorry, the Denver Broncos reaching a bit on that pick, but they obviously believe in the speed. And Dallas is on the clock, Mr. Billy Hoyle, 31. If I had to pick who Billy was picking here, I think he would look at a fullback. And he doesn't. He goes for one of our star players, our hidden gems. Again, our hidden gems, sponsored by Allied Plumbing and Heat, a name you can trust. He is David Fulcher's kid. And if any of you do not know who David Fulcher is, he is one of the hardest hitting safeties to have ever played in the NFL. Now, Fulcher is a work in progress.
And they start from just outside the 10 with Roger Craig, who is twisted down at the 12. David Fulcher again. He played at Arizona State. Craig. Fulcher. What a...
And somewhere out there, King X Booker is smiling. 98 hit power. Thank you for that. Billy Hoyle, 31. You have yourself another Woodson-style safety. A Dallas Cowboy legend. I think Fulcher, he probably could get some play time during the season. I'm not hip to the hop on your depth chart. Yes, he was a hidden player. And
the Vikings are now on the clock.
That is why it's important to do your scouting, guys. Make sure you do your scouting. We hide players throughout the draft. Ruiz comes off the board as center. 72 overall to the Oakland Raiders. But the Oakland Raiders, man, Lawrence fell all the way down to the Oakland Raiders, and the coach baseball getting a big-time weapon to replace Derek Carr. I'm sure we'll see Derek Carr in the trade block here pretty soon, but he's obviously looking to be the next Patrick Mahomes. As we have Mr. Witness 36, our trade commissioner, on the clock right now with his Minnesota Vikings. Very interested to see where he goes with this pick. Those of you in the chat right now, tell me what position he goes. Hurry up, and I will give you +1 speed. If you can get it in before his pick is in, Mr. Wakanda, welcome to the draft.
Can you hear me?
I hear you loud and clear.
The Jaguars are now on the clock.
How you doing?
Pretty good. How are you? You are live.
Interesting day, but glad everybody's safe and well. Everybody's safe and okay, and you're in?
Yeah, everybody's doing good here.
Good.
We are in round 2, pick number 5, as they go.
I see the draft is flying.
Choliwa, defensive tackle. Have you seen the picks so far, Mr. Wakanda? Anybody that
I saw.
The
I got
Jaguars
to the
lock.
end
The
of round
Jaguars lock.
1, so I'm trying to get my board updated and follow along. So
Gotcha.
I didn't see if you could actually recap the top 10. That would actually be great.
Yeah. So to me, the number one pick that went off the board was the wide receiver, Chase.
Gotcha.
He went on the board number 1 to the Houston Texans. And then the big one to me was Trevor Lawrence fell to the Las Vegas Raiders. I think that's a very
great.
interesting pick as Mariable goes to Ohio Bengal halfback.
The Redskins are now on the clock.
And the Skins are on the clock.
Wow.
Said,
Who's the highest rated rookie so far? I was thinking
Trevor Lawrence, an 84 overall right now, is the highest rated rookie. He is a superstar X Factor.
Nice.
And Ura giving you a shout out. He says Morgan Freeman has entered the chat. Now, I don't know if you can see it. You should be able to see the chat on your end. You should see on the right side, inside the draft, Mr. Ura. There you go. Now, I have a crap load of comments here. I'm just trying to sift through some of these and get them put up here.
Yeah, I was thinking that ETN and Lawrence were the 2 highest rated players in the class. I thought it was the Clemson backfield.
That is correct. Ross also a big-time receiver, too.
Wow, so Chase got picked before Ross, and Chase got picked at 1.
He did. He got picked number 1.
Oh, that's right, because the draft order changed. We had people, I think Houston traded up to 1.
Yeah, they did. And I'm going to throw up your draft board here for you. So here is Mr. Wakanda's draft board as we wait for the Washington Redskins pick. And now, the Denver Broncos last minute traded that pick to the Houston Texans for J.J. Watt. And then Houston, already having Watson, decided to go wide receiver, and I don't blame them because they lost Hopkins.
Right, that makes sense.
And Patrick Surtain fell too. Patrick Surtain fell down to, I believe, 5 or 6. He went to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jacksonville, I'm sorry, I think he went second now that I look at it. Jacksonville Jaguars actually drafted 2
are now
corners.
on the clock.
Let me minimize this so we can see who was picked. All right, and Brown the third. Now I have a highlight for Brown, so I will go ahead and play that highlight. This is another playmaker, a little bit rough around the edges, but somebody that I think is going to be an absolute solid player here in Soden Bowl. Let me see if I can find that highlight for you guys. And here he is. And as you can see, Mr. Brown is a solid weapon. Sanders coming off the board, an Air Force wide receiver. Do you know anything about Mr. Sanders?
Well, this was a crazy deep wide receiver class, even with all the players that I looked at, because I was going to release a second mock today, but I just had a bunch of stuff that came up. But it could have been anywhere between 10 to 11 receivers.
Yeah, and
in the first round,
I don't have anything on Sanders as far as videos go, but looks like a decent pick here for the second round, going to Minnesota, and the San Francisco 49ers are on the clock. Thank you for the kind words,
Chase
Mr.
was
Timbo.
85.
And here you go. Thank you,
The Vikings
SL Uncontrolled.
are now on the clock.
Correcting me. Redskins picked Surtain at pick number 7. That's right. Jaguars went Woodson with the second pick in the draft.
Wow.
Yeah. I think he's a 74 overall. He's still a solid player. He's just not as polished as some of the other corners in the draft. But then he followed it up, and I believe he picked another corner after that. Somebody that you were pretty high on.
Yeah, I'm gonna go into the transactions actually. So
he picked up a Debo.
Yeah, Paulson. That's a good pick.
And swing on these. The Patriots pick coming up here shortly. So when my pick comes up, I will have to step away for a second and make my pick, and then the Bengals, and then me again. As Minnesota is back on the clock, San Francisco picking up a left tackle and a pretty solid one at that. Landon Young. So he's 75 or 76 overall, I believe.
Did Jake Bentley get picked already?
He did. Jake Bentley went as the second quarterback in the draft.
Okay. Oh, yeah, it looks like the Vikings. Yeah, that's a good pick.
80 overall.
That's a good pick.
And the Hall of Fame
Yeah,
head
I was
coach,
looking. Him and Fields, I was like,
the Buccaneers are now on the clock.
And Thomas comes off the board, cornerback out of Michigan. Now, I don't think I have any tape on him. We're starting to run out of tape here. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers back on the clock again. Platinum Wolf. My apologies. Platinum Wolf on the clock, rebuilding this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team. They had a bit of a letdown season last year. They let Jameis Winston go to the Indianapolis Colts.
The Ravens are now on the clock.
And he goes cornerback Braswell out of Temple. An interesting pick. I have absolutely no knowledge of Mr. Braswell. And Coach Timbo is on the clock right now with his Baltimore Ravens, the commissioner of the MSR, one of our favorite leagues out there. We're good friends with the MSR over there. We got a lot of people that play in both leagues. So a shout out to the MSR. And Coach Timbo, you are on the clock with your Baltimore Ravens. Where do you go? And please share your pick in the chat when you're done.
I think I had mocked him getting Travis Etienne in the first round.
Dynasty wants to know, who did the Saints take? I don't think he's with us.
Let me see. I can look.
Stonehouse is still on the block. Should I draft Stonehouse with this Patriots pick coming up?
Sure. Hold on. Let me see.
I'm going to have to see who's available on my board.
Second round punter.
He's a first round in my book.
TJ Monk with the 21st pick for the Saints.
There you go.
Wide receiver.
As the Baltimore Ravens are on the board, Baltimore, I'm going to tell you. This
he
guy
picked
right
Etienne.
here.
I had him mocked to pick Etienne.
Wakanda's SB100 draft spotlight, a fourth-round potential punter here, according to Wakanda, Ryan Stonehouse, probably because he's a punter. I don't see many people taking a punter in the first few rounds.
I mean, unless you're the Raiders.
Unless you're the Raiders. And Ura says, Timbo, please.
The Rams are now on the clock.
Don't draft a bum. And he goes, Knox Jr., left outside linebacker out of Florida, 72 overall. And the Los Angeles Rams, Josh Lerma, on the clock right now. Minute 40 and counting. Somebody who played really good with the Rams, but getting rid of a lot of players here. He's got a lot of cap problems. Looking for Lerma. I believe this is a rebuild year for Lerma. I could be wrong. He could surprise me.
I feel like you could say the same thing for like half of the league. The contracts and playing in owner mode, you really have to be strategic with what you're doing. It's not about just having the best players.
That's true. All right. While the Los Angeles Rams are on the clock here, well, we'll do this after because I've got a couple picks. When we come to Detroit's pick, we will play an announcement that we have a new show coming to the Soden Bowl network.
Nice. Well, I still see some first-round grades still out there for guys.
There's a lot of good players out there right now. Rams obviously doing their due diligence here, trying to figure out who they want to pick.
Yeah, there's still
I
two.
will, once it's my pick, I'll step away for a minute. I'll make my pick. I'll watch the
Okay.
Bengals picks, so you can take over for Cincy and my picks. And then I pick right after Cincy.
The Patriots are now
and
on the
I will
clock.
be right back. Looks like they went prior.
While Soden's on the block and fake contemplating like he's not going to take this punter, I'll go through and let's see if we can look at best available players. Let's see. Looks like there's at least 2 players with first-round grades off and a decent amount of second to third round, so people should still be able to get some good value in the first 60, 65 picks in the draft.
The Bengals are now on the clock.
And, of course, he did take the punter like I thought. We got the Bengals on the clock with pick 16 in round 2. Or 15, excuse me. Bengals will be looking to add weapons to complement Joe Burrow, and then still adding pieces and playmakers on that defense. See if they can challenge the Browns in the AFC North this season in season 100.
The Patriots are now on the clock.
Yes, fake contemplating. Yeah, like he wasn't going to pick him. He's mentioned him like 8 times this season. All right, looks like the Bengals take Big Cat Bryant, outside linebacker out of Auburn, Stephanie overall, which puts Soden back on the clock with pick 16. Yeah, AFC North's going to be very interesting this season because you got Timbo with the Ravens. You got Wyrock, who will be the defending division winner, then do the greatest in the playoffs, so they have something to prove next season. And you got Jay Cork, who's one of the better players in CFN with the Steelers, coming back this year as well. So should be a really balanced division. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a new division winner, but I think it'll be one of the more interesting divisions to watch this season. Yeah, Seahawks, he took them with pick 14, so the pick before this previous one. It looks like he goes with Brady White, quarterback out of Memphis. So that puts the Lions on the clock with pick 17.
All right, and I am back. Now, I think
All right, so tell us about your pick.
All right, so I went Brady White as a backup quarterback simply because I do not have one. And I started at the bottom and worked my way up on the scouting knowing that it was going to be a late-round pick, but everybody took just about everything on my board right now. I don't need a fullback. I am stocked at running back right now. I have James White, I have Sony Michel, and Kareem Hunt, so cannot afford another running back on the roster.
And then
Mr.
the pick
Snipes
before that,
in
you
the
took
house.
Stonehouse.
Yeah, so I took the punter simply because I told you I was going to take the punter.
Right.
I do have a young Jake Bailey, so I'll probably trade Jake Bailey for those of you looking for a punter. Stonehouse is solid. Now, I have some video on Stonehouse because I expected Seahawks. I think I have video on Stonehouse. I don't know. Hold on, let me look. Maybe I don't. I don't think I could find video on Stonehouse.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you could find a punter highlight tape, but
the Bears are now on the clock.
But I do have. There you go, and I will take over for you. as the Chicago Bears are on the clock. And there is the newest member of the New England Patriots, my favorite draft pick of the season so far, Ryan Stonehouse. Local here out of Colorado. I thought Seahawks was going to go after him. Still a lot of good players left on the board here. I didn't have a whole lot of scouting points myself.
Saints are now on
I
the
didn't
clock.
stay on top of it because I just like producing these things for you guys. But Stonehouse to the Seahawks. Seahawks, you had your chance. He was the best punter in the draft, and I fully expected him to go to Seattle. And Billy Hoyle, he should have picked him. I'm not sure who he's talking about. Soden has to get Brady at quarterback. Yeah, he's not that good. I believe his highest was short accuracy. He's got good arm strength. He's only a normal development, so he's just going to be a backup. Steedham right now, I believe, is an 86 overall, so Steedham's putting in work. Steedham's got some speed. This guy's more of a medium pocket passer. He's got about above average speed.
Yeah, that's kind of going to be interesting, kind of, especially with not having the abilities. The developments will matter more about actually developing the player, so it still can be really important.
I'm going to put the draft board back up so people can see. I believe everybody on the board has been picked here. Just a look at the board while the Chicago Bears. Okay, tell me about your pick. You went Coxie, wide receiver out of Memphis. Now, I looked at him, and I thought about drafting him, but I passed.
Yeah, he's second round grade and had the good combine numbers. Trying to get somebody opposite of Allen Robinson, so
yeah,
or to develop if I get rid of him, we'll see. So good pick. There's still some really good players out there too. So hopefully looking to get another, because I was trying to get another weapons that I had moved on from in free agency. Although I did get Taylor Gabriel back for cheaper than what he originally asked for during the season.
That's a good weapon for you too.
Yep.
As Snipes is on the clock. Snipes says he has 3 picks in this draft. Here you go, Mr. Snipes. Here is your pick. Instantly. Erlinger looks like a quarterback out of Texas. I hadn't even heard of this guy.
He's the starter at Texas. Been the main starter at Texas.
There you go. And A. Soden comes in here to talk crap before he makes his pick. If I had to, him and Billy put a lot of value in fullbacks. I'd almost think he's going to go fullback here.
He doesn't run it, though, at least from the games I've watched.
Yeah, I don't even think he has a fullback on the field.
Yeah, I was going to say, A. Soden doesn't line up under center.
Yeah, it's usually like 17 wide receivers on the field. One of them playing running back.
Yeah.
And Snipes says he needed a QB. Share his stats if you can, Snipes. Let us know how he is. A. Soden with a minute left now. A. Soden running the draft here. We're in the second round. We'll probably kill the feed and keep this guy going. I'll just mute the volume. And we'll advance a little faster through the draft here. But you guys can stay right here in the chat. And Doc says a wannabe. A. Soden says his fullback got drafted. I'm not sure which one he was targeting. There is one really good fullback in the draft. I do know that.
Yeah, he got picked in between your picks. I think the Lions picked him.
Nice. Make sure you post his attributes, Detroit Go DJ, if you can, in the chat. A left tackle. Now, the Cleveland Browns are on the board here. I'm going to announce a new show here, Mr. Wakanda. And I know you are very familiar with it. Here's our new show coming to the Soden Bowl Network.
The Titans are now on the clock.
I'm going to play that again for you guys.
The Eagles are now on the clock.
The Two Kings Draft Show, sponsored by Allied Plumbing and Heat. a name you can trust. Mr. Wakanda, tell us what is up with the new
The
show.
Seahawks are now on the clock.
Yeah, very excited. It'll be something that we'll be able to collaborate on and give you guys updates on during the cycle about, or during in season about prospects and profiling different prospects, different things and needs that teams will have during the season that we'll be able to address and answer any questions or anything that people want information about. But it'll be a really good opportunity for you guys to kind of get more in depth about the different things that go into drafting and what people should be looking for, and the great prospects that will become stars in the Soden Bowl.
Yeah, and Mr. Wakanda, one of the best draft guys that I've ever had the privilege of working with, Jay Cork being another good one. Mr. Wakanda has a lot of great draft insight. He knows a lot of the guys coming out of college, so somebody that you guys can definitely inquire with. And Dana Booth says, Sargo DJ, he drafted Cajun Baldry. He says, sorry, A. Soden. What is his attributes, Dana? Can you tell us what his overall is or anything? Post it in the chat. Doc says, looking forward to Two Kings. Yeah, me too. It should be a very, very good show.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun.
As Harris comes off the clock here. Now, I'm going to play another video for you guys.
The Eagles are now on the clock.
As Philadelphia goes on the board, that is Johnson, a left guard. This is our season awards, sponsored by Allied Plumbing and Heat, a name you can trust. Here you go.
The Bears are now on the clock. The Colts are now on the clock.
Took a lot of time off the clock. Hurry back for another pass.
The Dolphins are now on the clock.
Is ticking. Oh my gosh! Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Watkins with the big touchdown. Are you kidding me? Unbelievable stop right there. And Kylo Ren might have lost this game with 4 seconds remaining in this battle.
And congratulations, Mr. Wakanda, winning the top personality of the year with your draft insight, man. 5,000 SBP, dude. Good job, man.
Thanks, I appreciate it,
The
man.
Packers
And congratulations
are
to
now
the
on the
other
clock.
winners, too. It was definitely a really fun and exciting season. Some really good content and engagement from the community as well. It was a lot of fun. And Snipes was really fun to enjoy as well this year specifically.
The
I want to shout him out,
Broncos
too.
are now on the
Yeah, he's fantastic. And CMG as well. CMG Broadcasting, also very good on his calls. Dana Booth says a superstar. He wants to say, Dana, I want to let you know your fullback is an X factor. Congratulations. He was one of the hidden gems in the draft. Nice pick. Somebody that we had talked about earlier in the day in the chat. If those guys paying attention, there was a superstar fullback in the draft, and he scouted, did his due diligence, and found him. I'm sure somewhere Billy Hoyle is crying in a corner right now.
The Cowboys are now on the clock.
Probably.
And Ohio Bengal putting his 4s up in the chat, and a hashtag Matty Strong. Matty Strong Night.
The Raiders are now on the clock.
Hey guys, I just wanted to say thank you to all those people who are out there praying for me, and just wanted to let you know that I'm going to kick this cancer's butt with all that I have.
All right, and a Maddie Strong night. She actually begins her treatment. D. Soden let us know on Twitter that she begins her treatment on Wednesday. So big shout out to Maddie.
The Vikings
good
are
luck
now
with
on the
that
clock.
treatment. And hashtag Maddie Strong, says Mr. Lerma, the Los
Yes,
Angeles
definitely
Rams owner.
hashtag Maddie Strong. Made me ugly cry during the Super Bowl. It was definitely worth it. Best
Yeah,
listen
and
to all her and her family.
unfortunately, we threw Kylo Ren to the Wolves. He had the third quarter broadcast, and he hadn't seen the video. Snipes, myself, and CMG saw the video, and we all muted our camera when we saw it for the first time, so that none of us saw us drying our tears. And then Kylo got stuck with the third quarter
Jaguars are now on the
broadcast.
clock.
Welcome
Yeah.
to the chat, Mr. Al Ferreira. Our friends over at the Apex Madden League, a fantastic league. Make sure you guys check them out as well. Very, very good league over there. Hashtag Maddie Strong from Mr. Witness. Let me catch up on some of these. We have Swing on These, One Brave Girl. I agree. Hashtag Maddie Strong, Maddie Stay Strong. And then Jiggy Man. This was a very good pick, as Jiggy said. Wide receiver Monk. He's not a speedster, but he is a prototypical wide receiver, somebody that I think is going to thrive well in New Orleans.
The Jaguars are now on the clock.
Another Matty Strong there, and then we have our buddy, one of the smoothest voices out there, Mr. Al Ferreira. What is up, good sir? Nice to see you here. And Mr. Timbo, Matty Strong. Thank you, sir. Tampa, you've had like 13 picks here in the first two rounds.
Yeah,
So,
I feel like he's had half
plenty
the
of
picks.
chances. Plenty of chances. Big Al with hashtag Matty Strong. We appreciate that. D-Sode and his family appreciates that as well. And we have Platinum Warrior. I'll tell you what, one of the best graphical artists I have ever seen. He has done nothing so far in the Soden Bowl era, but I follow him on Twitter.
Skins are now on the clock.
Kleindine. I'm sorry if I butchered your last name, man, but I'll tell you what, that guy's got a lot of skill, a lot of great graphical art. He does a lot of NFL graphical art.
Oh, that's cool.
Absolutely love it. So make sure you guys check him out on Twitter. Check out some of the work that he does. And now he's going to talk smack. He is winning the South. With that being said, we'll go to our Denver owner, K. Matt D, 6'7" linebacker with hidden and mid 80 speed. Who are we talking about here?
I think it's the guy he just took.
Here you go. Yeah, I'm sorry I didn't catch up with the chat. Snowden.
Yeah.
And Heath, Dynasty wants to know who Heath is. Heath is our Tampa Bay Buccaneers owner. Platinum Wolf. Platinum Wolf 11, I believe, is his full gamer tag.
Yep.
And there you go. He's the Tampa Bay Bucks. And Dynasty, let's go. All right, as we move in here, I believe we are in the third round, pick number 7. Draft is absolutely flying by. I think we only have one sim so far. Maybe 2 here with Washington.
Yeah, definitely is speeding by for sure.
A. Soden's asking me, whatever happened to one round?
Vikings are now on the clock.
Welcome to my world, A. Soden. And we have KJ Britt, middle linebacker at Auburn, going to the Washington Redskins, 66 overall here in the third round. And you're welcome, Platinum Wolf. And Dynasty says the NFC South will be fun. Yes, Coach Phil is a very good owner with the Atlanta Falcons, somebody not to sleep on. He actually has beat me the worst that I've ever been beaten in Madden before a couple seasons ago. I think it was like 70-0.
The
Wow.
49ers are now on the clock.
Don't forget
Absolutely.
about You're Blessed.
Yeah, you're blessed in the South. That's a good point, too. He picks up Philip Dorsett from the Patriots, 95 speed wide receiver, and then he drafts really well, somebody that predicates himself in the passing game.
Got Herbert.
Yeah, he does.
That's going to be a really good division. Number 1 draft pick's a really good player, too.
He is. Yeah, number 1 draft pick, one of the better ones out there. I believe he re-signed Drew Brees, too.
The Texans are now on the clock.
I never understand when we let people just re-sign people back for that they got rid of. I was trying to stop Chicken from signing Mason Fine, but I wasn't going to pay a backup $80 million.
Yeah, that's a lot of money. So again, those of you just joining us, I'm going to play this again. That is a brand new show coming to the Soden Bowl
The
Network.
Buccaneers are now on the clock.
The Two Kings Draft Show, sponsored by Allied Plumbing and Heat, a name you can trust. Mr. King, the King of Wakanda himself, with his own draft show. I would pay special attention to that because I don't think I've ever seen King of Wakanda make a bad draft pick.
I have my moments where
The
people
Ravens
don't
are now
see
on the
my
clock.
logic, and then down the road it looks good. I have a way of making them look better.
And Ura says he has his next pick lined up. I have no idea who I'm picking next, so I don't even know.
Well,
there's no more punters left.
No more punters left. There, I don't know. So I usually will.
I went linebacker, punter, and last quarterback on the list.
So I got a wide receiver and tight end, but I usually will keep everybody that's green. I still have 18 on my draft board.
Ura finally plays me. Ura, careful what you wish for, my friend. I saw that game versus Jiggy, man.
I played pretty bad against him, too.
Ura's a very, very, very good player. I'll be lucky to be in the game versus Ura, so all smack talk aside.
Yeah, this season is going to be very, very interesting.
The Rams
I don't know if you talked about the opening schedule already, but just taking a look at some of the games in week 1, it's going to start out very, very interesting. We got Saints and Panthers start out week 1. I play J Court week 1. T Hoyt and Y Rock play week 1. You play Platinum Wolf to start the season.
Awesome.
There's a bunch of really good games in here to start the season. Crowd Pleaser and Timbo play to start the season too. So should be really interesting to start the season again. It'll be like I feel like it's going to be like last year again, where I think I missed the playoffs with 11 wins in the NFC, and then the AFC. I think it was really rough.
It was, yeah. You needed 11 or 12 wins to win in the AFC as well. And here, this is our 100th season for those of you keeping count. We have a special video.
The Panthers are now on the clock.
To commemorate our 100th season. It's crazy to think it's been that long, but 100 seasons kicks off tonight as we are well underway.
All right, so I got a question for you.
Sure.
When you first started, did you even imagine that? I mean, what are you at 10, 11 years later that you would be at this point?
The Bengals are now on the clock.
Honestly, when I first started the league, it was like 16 people, I think, we had, and then it quickly went to 32. So I didn't imagine it being a full 32-man league, never mind playing 100 seasons, website, and all this crazy stuff. I couldn't even imagine. I mean, it was just one thing we decided to go with.
The Patriots are now
with it. And I am on the clock, so I will be right back.
As Soden runs to go make his pick. Let's see. Before him, Bengals picked Lamont Wade, free safety. Still looks like there's a decent amount of prospects out there. Obviously, we've noticed with the last couple classes, it's been pretty nice depth-wise, and you can get some really good value in the middle round of picks, even if you don't have a first-round draft pick or high draft capital. So hopefully we get another custom class. And
The Lions are now on the clock.
Do some exciting stuff for you guys, too. Again, I should say. As it looks like Soden goes cornerback with his pick in the third round.
Yeah, he had second-round grading ability. I did not scout him at all.
The Falcons are now on the clock.
Did say hidden dev, so we'll see how he is. But I did let Jonathan Jones go, and Malfalanui, or however you pronounce his name, I let him go too. And Jiggy says, rest in peace. Thank you. And Platinum is out of here. Have a good night, sir.
The Jaguars are now on the clock.
That was the easiest. Yeah, that was a bad game, Ura. I haven't seen you play very many. Coach A. Soden says he plays Kylo and Jiggy. There you go, A. Soden. Welcome to the next level of competition. Rambo, solid pick.
The Bears are now on the clock.
And you are on the clock, Mr. Wakanda. While you make your pick, I'm going to play the intro to the draft video that we did for those guys that may have missed it.
The Saints are now on the clock.
All right, that was our opening draft show. For those of you that missed it, our opening intro to Season 100, our 100th rookie draft, sponsored by Allied Plumbing and Heat, a name you can trust. Tim says these classes coming into the show. Snipes needs that.
I think.
Josh Lerma says it's season 102. Interesting. Elaborate,
Yeah, that's what I was
Mr.
going to ask you about.
I have no idea what he's talking about, but go ahead and elaborate, Mr. Lerma. And Snipes finds it funny. Seahawks, that pick that I just made is, I have no idea who he is.
The
He's
Raiders
just the
are
only
now on the
second
clock.
round graded position. If you watch the replay, I didn't even scout the guy. I think he's like a 71 overall. Not a bad pick for the second or third round. But I don't want to hear it. I picked a punter with my second round pick, so stew on that. Dynasty, see you Bucks. Yeah, Bucks out of here. Platinum Warrior with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, a new owner. Rebuilding the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. A lot more here. Dana dedicating this draft. That's true. A hashtag Maddie. I agree. Hashtag Maddie Strong. We can sim the Saints. They're not even on the board yet. Oh, they've just passed. Snipes Television. I only have 2 picks. I think you need about 12 picks if you're going to play Hoyt again. K-Matt. Now my scouting has ran out. I hear you, K-Matt. I even started at the bottom. These guys, man, these guys really scouted well. King of Wakanda with one of the best draft
The Chiefs are now on the
seasonal updates, man. These guys were on it. They went after everybody that was on that board, and I don't think anybody but maybe the Raiders were disappointed. Whoever drafted that 52 overall receiver maybe was a little disappointed.
Jeez, if you're drafting 52 overalls in this draft.
Yeah, he does have 97 speed, though.
Yeah, that's true. But I feel like with the way, especially, I don't know if you want to, with how you guys updated the DB reaction the last few weeks of the season and into the playoffs, like, even though we don't have abilities, like the skills matter, like play rec and awareness and release and all that stuff matters a lot more on this build, I feel like, at least.
All right, Josh Lerma says he actually played in the Super Bowl against Hawaii for sure, and against Your Blessed. So I'm sure your UB could probably confirm that. I thought we do a pretty good job of keeping track of the history. He has 7 Super Bowl rings. Very interesting. Seahawks has 16. I think I have 13. I don't know. I'd have to count again.
I don't know. I'd have to count again.
You lose count. I have a better Super Bowl record than Seahawks, though. I think I only have like 3 losses. If I get there,
the
I
Browns
usually win
are
it.
now on the clock.
Although I was beat in the Super Bowl on a Hail Mary by Barney's New York Giants to Calvin Johnson.
Jeez.
Preseason owner rankings. Yeah, that's a good one, Doc. I will be sure to try to get on that and put at least the top 10 out.
Well, you did a good job last season. I mean, I believe you had T. Hoyt 1. I think you had me like, I was 1 win off of the total you like projected. It was a bunch of them that were really good. I think
did
the only
predict.
thing that
I did predict T. Hoyt to win the Super Bowl, so I got that one correct. But I had Ura playing
The
him, and
Titans
I didn't
are now
win
on
that
the
one.
clock.
Ura didn't show up against Jiggy, so I lost that one.
You're not gonna let him live that down.
Yeah, Ura was too busy watching YouTube videos, apparently.
The Falcons are now on the clock.
Doc needs to know who the power rankings are. If you go to sodenbowl.com, you check out SB stats and more. You can actually see the season that was passed. You can look at the schedule and see how everybody finished out.
Wow, what a pick. 81 overall running back in the 3rd round.
Yes, so that is my hidden gem. I'm glad. Yes, that is Thurman Thomas's kid. That is our other hidden gem. And I'm glad that you put that there.
The Seahawks are now on the clock.
That is a look at his dad, Thurman Thomas in college.
Thurman Thomas was on those 90 Bills.
I think I was riding a tricycle then.
Where is that? Oklahoma State?
Yep.
Thurman Thomas and Barry Sanders, pretty good backfield. I think Barry Sanders will go so good.
And Thurman Thomas Jr., a very good pick. Who did he go to? Who won that one?
That was Ura, as we were talking, actually.
Yes, Ura. Now, Ura is going to beat me with the hidden gem. I see this coming in week 16.
The irony.
The Eagles are now on the clock.
Terman, huh?
The Cardinals are now on the clock.
Timbo, thank you for the kind words, good sir. Yeah, Thurman Thomas Jr.
The Colts are now on the clock.
Maybe a junior. I think Thurman Thomas is getting pretty old. I think his kids are probably as old as me. So
yeah,
that was a hidden gem. Again, hidden gem sponsored by Allied Plumbing and Heat. A name you can trust.
The Dolphins are now on the clock.
And Seahawks.
Is that Trey Wingold's voice?
Where? In the background, yes.
Yeah. I don't know why I didn't just notice that till now.
Snipes, you missed out on him. You had a chance to draft him, my friend. But he's not your guy. He's Ura's guy. Yeah, if you guys were paying attention when I looked at my draft board earlier, Thurman Thomas was on there, but I didn't want to pick him. I wanted those gems to go to you guys.
The Packers are now on the clock.
I instead picked Brady, I think it was. The last quarterback there.
Yeah, Brady White, I think.
Not too bad.
Well, we're at the end of round 3. How long you want to keep going?
So we're probably going to close this thing up. I'm going to mute the volume, let this thing play out here for you guys. We're going to speed the draft up a little bit. Is there anything you want to say in closing, King?
Excited for season 100. Hope everybody continues to stay active, engaged, enjoying the content. You know, maybe put out something if you're new. And then, you know, obviously prayers to Maddie and her family as well. Maddie Strong.
Well said, my friend.
Really excited for the Centennial season, the Soden Bowl.
Hell yeah. All right. With that being said, I'm going to mute our volume. We'll keep this show rolling in here.
The Broncos are now on the clock.
And don't forget, guys, we will advance every 10 minutes upon the completion of the draft until week 4 preseason. It is a 300%.
The Cowboys
XP.
are now on the clock.
So make sure you guys do your training. So Mr. Wakanda and IMS Soden, we are out of here. We'll keep the show rolling with no volume.
The Vikings are now on the clock. The Jets are now on the clock. The Jets are now on the clock. The Redskins are now on the clock. The Bills are now on the clock. The Raiders are now on the clock. The Texans are now on the clock. The Buccaneers are now on the clock. The Ravens are now on the clock. The Jaguars are on the clock. The Panthers are now on the clock. The Bengals are now on the clock. The Patriots are now on the clock. The Lions are now on the clock. The Falcons are now on the clock. The Steelers are now on the clock. The Bears are now on the clock. The Saints are now on the clock. The Raiders are now on the clock. The Chiefs are now on the clock. The Browns are now on the clock. The Titans are now on the clock. The Chargers are now on the clock. The Seahawks are now on the clock. The Browns are now on the clock. The Cardinals are now on the clock. The Colts are now on the clock. The Dolphins are now on the clock. The Packers are now on the clock. Those are now on the clock. The Cowboys are now on the clock. The Raiders are now on the clock. The Vikings are now on the clock. The Jaguars are now on the clock. The Jets are now on the clock. The Redskins are now on the clock. The Bills are now on the clock. The 49ers are now on the clock. The Texans are now on the clock. The Buccaneers are now on the clock. The Ravens are now on the clock. The Browns are now on the clock. The Panthers are now on the clock. The Bengals are now on the clock. The Patriots clock. The Lions are now on the clock. The Falcons are now on the clock. The Steelers are now on the clock. The Bears are now on the clock. The Saints are now on the clock. The Jets are now on the clock. The Browns are now on the clock. The Titans are now on the clock. The Chargers are now on the clock. The Seahawks are now on the clock. The Eagles are now on the clock. The Cardinals are now on the clock. The Colts are now on the clock. Dolphins are now on the clock. The Packers are now on the clock. The Broncos are now on the clock. The Cowboys are now on the clock. The Raiders are now on the clock. The Vikings are now on the clock. The Jaguars are now on the clock. The Patriots are now on the clock. The Redskins are now on the clock. The Bills are now on the clock. The Texans are now on the clock. The Buccaneers are now on the clock. The Ravens are now on the clock. The Rams are now on the clock. The Panthers are now on the clock. On the clock. The Bengals are now on the clock. The Patriots are now on the clock. The Lions are now on the clock. The Falcons are now on the clock. The Dolphins are now on the clock. The Bears are now on the clock. The Saints are now on the clock. The Giants are now on the clock. The Chiefs are now on the clock. The Browns are now on the clock. The Titans are now on the clock. The Chargers are now on the clock. The Seahawks are now on the clock. The Eagles are now on the clock. The Cardinals are now on the clock. The Colts are now on the clock. The Texans are now on the clock. The Packers are now on the clock. The Broncos are now on the clock. The Patriots are now on the clock. The Raiders are now on the clock. The Vikings are now on the clock. The Jaguars are now on the clock. The Jets are now on the clock. The Redskins are now on the clock. The Browns are now on the clock. The 49ers are now on the clock. The Texans are now on the clock. The Buccaneers are now on the clock. The Ravens are now on the clock. The Rams are now on the clock. The Panthers are now on the clock. The Bengals are now on the clock. The Patriots are now on the clock. The Seahawks are now on the clock.
All right, and I am back on the call here as we wind out the 7th round. I have a trivia question. +1 throwing power. +1 throwing power to the first. +1 throwing power to the first owner that can tell me how many Super Bowls Eat More Chicken has won in Soden Bowl history. And Eat More Chicken cannot answer that. Go ahead and post it in the YouTube chat. The first person to get it right wins +1 throw power. And the 7th round winding down here.
The Falcons are now on the clock.
Let's see. We are about halfway through the 7th round. This was a very fast-moving draft, so I want to give a big shout-out to everybody that participated in the draft. A. Soden, great job of doing the behind-the-scenes production of the draft. And King of Wakanda, he came in a little bit late, but man, that guy's got some great insight into the draft. Big shout-out to the new owners, Doc, Spanza, Platinum Wolf, all you guys getting in there and getting that action in the chat. So we appreciate that. We appreciate the activity. Looks like it was a really good draft so far this season. So season 100 kicks off tonight. The draft is just about done. I'd like to remind everybody that we will advance every 10 minutes until we hit week 4 preseason. We will stay at week 4 preseason until tomorrow night, where then we will advance to week 1. We do the simming with injuries off, and there's 300% XP, so make sure you do your practices. Get your new rookies some love. Make sure they're in the depth chart. Make sure your depth charts are legit, and then you can make your cuts at week 4. That is where we will pause, so those guys that are not with us for that advance, they have a chance to still cut their players and set their practice squads. You may sign
The Steelers are now
only
on the clock.
2 free agents per advance. So with that being said, we still have the question. The question is up right now. Who
The Bears are now on the clock. The Saints are now on the clock.
How many Super Bowl victories does Eat More Chicken have in Soden Bowl history? Sure, a lot of people checking the Soden Bowl page. Be a good spot to look, the history page. As the New York Giants are on the clock here. Pick number 2 in the 7th round. 30 seconds left on the clock, followed by the Chiefs, the Browns, the Titans, the Chargers, the Seahawks, and the Eagles.
The Chiefs are now on the clock. The Browns are now on the clock. The Titans are now on the clock. The Chargers are now on the clock. The Seahawks are now on the clock.
All right, I'm going to have to read these manually here. I didn't realize it wasn't updating in the chat. Josh Lerma says 3. Soden says 96. I guessed 4. Billy says 0. Witness with 2. A Soden 4. Hoyt with 2. Sterling AG 1. Guesses 1. Any more guesses? Jeopardy music is playing in the background. The question is, how many Super Bowl victories does Eat More Chicken have in Soden Bowl history?
The Eagles are now on the clock. The Cardinals are now on the clock.
Eat More Chicken cannot answer the question. You guys have 10 seconds to answer. Eat More Chicken's total Super Bowl wins in Soden Bowl history. It's a pretty long history. As we are on pick number 29.
The Colts are now on the clock.
It's not how many he's been to, how many has he won? And the answer is 1 Super Bowl. He has won Super Bowl 98. Actually, Super Bowl 97. My apologies. Super Bowl 97 with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He takes down 5-star Hustler by the score of 23-0. The year before was Ura, winning with the Miami Dolphins 26-24 over the King of
The
Wakanda.
Packers are now on the clock.
Sterling is right. Sterling, post in support with whom you want to apply +1 throwing power to. Congratulations, you win the last giveaway of tonight. Again, remember, guys, the Green Bay Packers, the last team on the clock. Remember, upon the completion of this draft, we will advance every 10 minutes until week number 4. You may sign only 2 free agents per advance. Once the Packers make their pick, we will cue the Soden Bowl 100 opening, and we will end the draft. Congratulations, everybody. Looks like a really, really good draft. Again, hashtag Matty Strong. Thank you to Allied Plumbing and Heat, a name you can trust. And good luck in season 100.